Hello there, I'm Kevin Parson, and as some of you know, I work and live in the Harleston and Diss area, and we've been doing a series of online video chats with various professions, volunteers, and it's in a series of champions and heroes. And today we've got a local champion in the term of Robert Connelly. He's the head teacher from the Archbishop Sandcroft School. Hello, Rob. How are you?
Hi, Kevin. Very well, thank you. Thanks ever so much for inviting me to speak to you today.
Absolute pleasure, Rob. So tell me, obviously you're the head teacher there at the Archbishop. What do you do? Because a lot of people say to me, well, the head teachers, you know, they're a bit of a 9-to-5 job, a 9-to-4 job. But I'm sure it's not like that, is it?
No, slightly different. Slightly different. I think there's a few different perceptions of what we do and what we don't do. But I have the absolute privilege of working with over sort of 500 young people in the Harleston area, and in the region of about 70-75 adults in the school on a daily basis in a building, in a site that is just full of life and excitement. It's as I say, it's a real privilege. In terms of what do I do, the beauty of my role is that every day is different, because you've got so many different variables. And by that, I mean the young people who make decisions. We have a set of rules to follow. Whether a child chooses to do that or not is entirely up to them. And I thrive in those situations. We've got an amazing community, and actually what we're doing is really not just shaping but changing lives and opportunities, and being able to give somebody an idea or a thread for them to follow, or a particular pathway is a real privilege. And we see ourselves as so much more than an exam factory that churns out exam grades. We really see ourselves as a community that offers a real wide variety of opportunities to get children and adults to understand who they are, and to find out who they want to be. And that's really hard. And there's a lot of people out there who are still perhaps looking for that. And I see us as having a responsibility to give people the chance and the time to explore that.
And so with the day-to-day, obviously, sort of, whilst we're recording this, is obviously in the coronavirus period. So I guess things are a little bit different at the moment.
Yeah.
And you've got, as far as I can see, the sort of the main role is students which are now doing online tuition.
Yeah. So in normal times, we will be delivering a curriculum in line with the national curriculum for 11 to 16-year-olds, preparing young people for their GCSEs and beyond. So looking at their future aspirations and trying to give them some guidance and direction, some support to realise and fulfil their potential. The curriculum that we're offering at the moment is slightly different in that we've been required almost overnight. And remember, as school leaders, we found out at the same time as you did that we were closing, and we had to effectively redesign what we did in 48 hours. And I am so grateful for the amazing colleagues that I work with, both within the school, but also within St Benet's Multi-Academy Trust, who have just really risen to this challenge. So over the space of 48 hours, we closed the school as you and I would know it. And we reopened 48 hours later a childcare provision and a virtual school. So the vast majority of young people are now receiving lessons online daily from our staff. And then we've got the children of key workers and vulnerable families, vulnerable children who are attending school on a daily basis still. And that included the Easter period, the Easter holidays, the Easter weekend, so that we can enable those key workers to really support in the response to COVID-19.
And so, and those the students that are doing all online, then are they doing Zoom calls, or are they actually, you know, sort of, does someone get an email with obviously sort of a load of questions? How does that actually physically work?
Yeah, great question. And I think a lot of people are asking schools that because like I said, we weren't given a great deal of notice. We weren't told how to do it. So we had to really rely on the infrastructure that we had in place already. And as a school, we've got a Google setup at school. So the vast majority of learning is being done through Google Classrooms that can be interactive. But staff can also set lessons that students can then submit. And we then ask staff to feedback and have a dialogue with the students, albeit virtually. We've also set up a facility for Google Meets, so staff can be live and students can interact with them. But with that come a lot of challenges, and we want to make sure that the quality of provision is right. So the vast majority of the learning has been through Google Classrooms. We've had a facility in place for about 4 years called Show My Homework, where students are set their homework online anyway. And what we've done is we've developed that portal further in a very quick time for it to be the host for the virtual school. One of the reasons why we've adopted that is because the students already knew how it worked, the staff knew how it worked, the parents knew how it worked, because whenever a piece of work is set, it's directly sent to the student and it gives an alert on a parent app. So they know that that works there. There's been great engagement. I'm really proud of the way in which our students have responded. And I know that we're all out there clapping on a Thursday night for our carers and our frontline workers and our NHS. But actually, I think we should be clapping for our children as well, because they have been asked to turn their lives upside down in a very short space of time. And I don't know if we think back to when we were teenagers, what that would have meant. I don't think we can really underestimate how much strength and resilience they're showing at this time. I am just overwhelmed. I get emails daily from children and from parents just to let me know that they're okay, checking in on me, asking if I'm okay and my family. Just overwhelmed by the way in which they've reacted.
And I think that sums up really the attitude of the majority of people in the locality, in the country, really, isn't it? Sort of, that everybody's in it together and going
Absolutely.
on the sort of the local, the town and Harleston itself. What is it about sort of Harleston and the people in Harleston that you like?
Well, for those people who don't know, I'm actually from South Norfolk. I grew up in Dickleborough. My mum and dad still live there. I've known the community for a lot of years, and the thing that struck me, I've been at the school now for 9 years, but the thing that has always struck me is that real sense of community and how people can actually depend on others, and I think that's quite unique. I think society, if we're talking nationally, there's some real fragmentation in society, and that concerns me. And I think one of the beauties of Harleston is that people look out for one another. People care. They really do care, and you see that in the relationships, not only within the school community, but the relationships that we have with businesses in the town, with the Rotary, for example, the fantastic relationship we have with the primary school. Interestingly, what we're doing at the moment, we've put our provision together. So the children from the primary school and the high school who are from those key worker and vulnerable families are together. And that says a lot about the strength of relationships. I think there is often a misconception with Harleston. You can drive through and you've obviously got a beautiful high street. And obviously you've worked in Harleston over the years at times. But there is also some high deprivation, and we've got some families in real need. And again, what we've seen, and particularly in recent weeks, but prior to that, is that you don't see a real polarisation in the school. You see everybody on an equal footing, and everyone is treated with respect. We talk about respect and trust and love in our school a lot of the time. And I think that is seen in the community when you walk through the town, when you go to St John's and you see Reverend Nigel. People will say hello to you. And again, that's not evident across the globe. And I think Harleston, we're very fortunate to have such a strong community feeling.
And obviously, as you say, you've sort of worked in the town for the last 9 years, and indeed, lived locally all your life. So, and over a period of time, last 10, 20 years, have you seen much difference?
Yes, I think something that we've really worked hard on is developing aspirations. And actually, little old Halston, you can go on and you can be anything you wish to be. The school's vision is that you can go from ashes to anywhere. And we're seeing that more and more. Certainly over the last 4 or 5 years, we're seeing young people who aspire to go on to the very best universities, going on to Cambridge, to Oxford, but equally to set up their own business and not settle with actually, I can't. We're actually saying, I can't quite yet do it, but I will be able to. And I've seen a shift, certainly in the time that I've worked in the town, that we're now seeing this sense of real purpose and a dynamic community that is really motoring, and it's exciting. And okay, we can say that could be coupled with academic success, and we've had improved outcomes, and that is evident. But more importantly, and I don't think we should measure schools on academic outcomes, and I've always said that, we should measure it on how our young people are on a day-to-day basis, in terms of their own mental health, in terms of the contributions they make to the wider community, in terms of the way they treat one another. And you really see that within our community.
And so if you could sum up Halston and the people in it, in the town, in one word, what do you think that would be?
Oh, that's a really great question. I'd like to give 3 or 4 words.
That's right, yeah.
But are you going to let me? Okay, that's good. I would use the word community. I've used the word community a lot today. Community is central. I think there's a lot of hope in Halston. I think there's a huge amount of hope. I think there's a sense of pride. And I also think there's a huge sense of joy when you walk around the town, when you see the work of the Round Table, of the Rotary, of other organisations, Halston Future. It's just phenomenal for a small market town. There's this real sense of optimism and purpose. So I've used more than four words there, but I think you can sense my passion for the town.
I certainly can, Rob. Certainly can. Well, and finally, whenever we get out of this lockdown, which according to the experts is going to be around about June time, is there one particular place, cafe, restaurant, pub, or anything, shops, any one particular place that you're really keen to go and visit once we get out of lockdown?
Honestly, Kevin, I am desperate to return to school with a school full of children. And I know that's not going to happen overnight. And I know that's not going to be at the end of lockdown. But I visited school earlier this week. I was in on Monday. And although it's nice to be back, it was really, I was quite despondent when I left. I cannot wait to get back there with a vibrant corridor, with a vibrant hall, full of excitement, full of energy. That so many of us are so desperately missing. It's going to take time. I understand that, but I can't wait. And I know it will happen. But we just need to continue to listen to what the professionals are telling us. But I can't wait. So it's not a pub, although I wouldn't mind popping down there for a pint this evening. It's actually getting back into the school that's full of all of our wonderful children and staff.
Rob, that's been absolutely fantastic. Thanks so much for your time. And for those out there, if you've been watching this and you'd like to make a comment, you know Rob or know the school, and you'd like to make a comment about all the good work they do there, then please do leave a comment. And of course, if you know someone who would like an online chat as well, whether it be a local hero, champion, someone who's running their own business, or they've developed something, or indeed other head teachers, school teachers in the area, I'd love the opportunity to interview them. So, Rob, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks ever so much, Kevin. Likewise. Take care.